Good morning. It's time to start the day. I have this fresh, piping hot cup of coffee to begin today. I have the Joker with me too. So how you guys doing? Did you guys wake up yet? I am starting the day. I know what I have to do next after this video, and that's what you want. You want to be able to wake up and know what the next thing will be in your task for the days. So what are you guys doing? If you watch me, comment. We could talk about stuff and chat. This coffee's real hot, so it's going to be here a while. I know yesterday I talked for about an hour. It may not be like that today. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. I think you can. I'm going to do a test. You're going to hear some echo. Possible. It's possible echo happening. Yeah, it's good. Good morning. Mr. Van Slyke is here. How you doing, sir? I know you're home from teaching. I know was told to stay home now. But that's cool. You can do other things. You're a creative guy. You always had a good beard every time I saw you. Yeah. Oh, this coffee's good. I needed it today. Last night I was, once again, these hours catch up. The daytime hours caught up to me about 10:30 at night. I did a stream yesterday. I drew at my, my famous cartoonist draws things. I drew stuff at night, and then after that, man, I was hungry. I let my hunger take over, and I had to eat some food, and then I had to lay down, and boom, I laid down and woke up at like this morning. Hey, James, good morning to you too, sir. Ernie, oh yeah, Jurassic Ernie's here. It's your friend from Ernie from Arizona. Oh yeah, Ernie. I was just talking to you about you to my friends, talking about the sweetest mullet ever in the history of mullets. You're awesome, dude. Yeah, Jurassic Ernie. I want to draw Jurassic Ernie right now because Ernie's awesome. He's one of my friends. He's one of my real good friends. I miss him dearly. I'm gonna draw an Ernie. This is what Ernie looked like. Ernie was this cool kid, cool guy that I knew when I was in my 20s. I know him now, but when I was in my 20s, we used to hang out. I had an apartment with my roommate Bob Valley, or Valle, however you want to say it. Ernie would come over. Ernie was one of Bob's buddies, but now he's my friend. I took him over. I'll be doing good in Arizona, man. You still got all those cactuses? I know you had cactus collection. But I'm gonna draw Ernie. Here's what he looked like. I'm not lying. He was sweetness to perfection. And I called him Jurassic Ernie. Or we all did. I think right now he's just are you just Ernie now? Maybe not Jurassic. This is from the Jurassic period. Ernie had a sweet mullet. Look at that. That's what he looked like. That's my friend Ernie right there. Jurassic Ernie. I gotta have you show up in one of my comics, dude. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Yeah. Baldiga, hey man. I got all kinds of people here. People from that I know. You know, people always say it's people from your past, but everyone you know is from your past. If you met someone yesterday, they're from your past. But Kurt Baldiga, man, I know you're rocking the tattoo parlors. Man, all these successful people. And Ernie has, I know you have a video game collection and stuff like that. That's cool, man. Collects cactuses and video games. Like real ones, though, not just like PlayStations and stuff. Like real ones. He has them in his house. That's cool, man. I'm not going to tell them where you live, though, because people are going to want those cactuses. It's funny, when I was in college, second, third year of college. I had an accident on my bike and I broke my tailbone. And until this day, it still hurts. It's been like 30 years later and it's still painful. But I used to have to take real hot baths and sit in the hot tub, and they couldn't do nothing. They can't repair a tailbone if it's broken inside. And it's the last vertebrae of my spine was broken, so they don't want to touch it. And I used to take drugs every day because I would get up in the morning and get on a bus, and I would take painkiller drugs and stuff. So every time I got to school, I was weird and loopy. So I didn't know what was happening. I was just in my own world. And so after I had a writing class, fiction writing class, and after, you have your one-on-one with the teacher after the class, the teacher, or halfway through the semester, teacher asks you how you're doing and what you're doing and how your grades are. But the first thing the teacher asked me in my one-on-one, she said, were you on any prescription drug medication throughout the semester? And I said, yes, ma'am. She goes, oh, that makes a whole bunch of sense. That makes a lot of sense. And I'm like, why? What happened? And she said, because we couldn't start the class until I talked at least 15 minutes about cactuses. So every time we're in a cactus, I think of this. So every morning when we would go in there, every Tuesday morning in fiction writing class, I would talk to the whole class about what happened in the world of cactuses this week. And she said, when I was done, then I sat down and we began the class. So I don't remember that, but she said it happened every week. And I believe her because I did some of my best writing that semester. I created a lot of cool things, but I was having a good time in my own brain, but there's no pain, It's like when you take painkillers for something. It's kind of awesome. You don't get a headache, nothing. There's no problems at all. Your knees don't hurt. Whatever hurts, it goes away. So, but that was cool. But it still hurts now. I need some more of those. Imagine my comics now if I was on those drugs. But I only took them for a little while until they ran out. But it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool, man. And it was all right. It's a good time. Let me see if there's comment. Oh, yeah. It always lets me scroll. Okay, James. Excited to meet you at the Indie Comic Con whenever the event starts. Yeah, when is that? Oh, the Indie Con. Yeah, I think they rescheduled it for June. I got to respond to him. I want to go. But I don't know if it's, I don't have confidence yet in June or July. I don't think we're going anywhere until next year. But we'll see. The plans are to do a lot of things. And until people tell you can't go, then I'm going to stay home. But I'm going to take a swig for coffee. I have a mug as big as your head. See? This is awesome. And let's see. Cartooning class we had. Yeah. Yeah, we had cartooning with Gordon Sheehan, his name is. And Gordon Sheehan, he ended up he worked on the old Popeye cartoons and Superman, Fleischer cartoons. And my son is a genealogist, and he genealogized everybody. He goes back in time and researches family and bloodlines and names. But he went ahead and researched my teachers that I talk about from Columbia College. And it was several guys, but Gordon Sheehan was one of the guys who caught him because I think Gordon Sheehan was teaching us at he was 92 years old or 97. He's a real old guy. But I learned so much from him. And I remember in class, we all put our stuff on the bulletin board for critique time. And he walked up to my piece and he looked at it. And then he turned around and he said, who is this? And I said, that's me, sir. And he goes, you're going to do this for a long time. And he was right. Like, oh, cool, man. Gordon Sheehan saw it. So, but anyway, my son researched, he did a genealogy bloodline with the teachers. And it turns out Gordon Sheehan was an apprentice of another guy. Man, I forget. I wish I had the facts here. But somehow it went to Picasso, and then it went to Michelangelo, maybe not him, Leonardo da Vinci, but it went real far back into the Italian masters, and it was really cool. And I have to get that again. Oh, it went to Will Eisner. That's what I was impressed with. Gordon Sheehan went to Will Eisner, went through Jack Kirby and I think Dick Ayers. He said all these guys. So this guy was the apprentice of this guy, and this guy apprentice of this guy, and this guy. So it's kind of like the Jedi traits being passed on. So I'm kind of like an Ahsoka Tano, I guess, or Anakin Skywalker. But I didn't go bad. Well, not yet. I might. There's still time. But but that was pretty cool. You want to see some Vance Light? Want to see some famous cartoonist character Funko Pops? Oh, I would love that. Like to make them of my own. That would be cool. Years ago, before Funko started making these pops, they were a smaller company, and I actually pitched them. Some of my guys. I think it was Wolf Boy, but I think they wanted me to pay, and I just couldn't afford it. I wanted to do it, but it was. Do I make toys or I print like 4 more comics? So we printed some comics, but that was pretty interesting. It was my first dipping my toe into the sea of merchandising, but I learned merchandising. It takes money, a lot of money. So I don't. I rather put my money into comics so people can read the stories, and that's what it's all about. Like I like toys, but if you really want the toy, you can customize it. But someday there'll be toys. Well, there has been toys in my stuff. There's a lot of plushies, like, and plus there was the Tiny Titans school bus little PVC toys. They had itty bitty plushies for itty bitty Hellboy. We had Super Pet plush, Action Cat plush. So there's a lot of plush. Plush seems to be the easiest thing to do, and most kid friendly because then they could roll around on the couch and sleep with it and stuff, and it's fun to cuddle. Yeah, yeah, James, Indiana. Yeah, I figured it out. Because IndieCon, like to me, it means independent, you know. But IndieCon, yeah, I'm gonna go again. I got invited. It was supposed to be in April, but we all had canceled. But maybe I think it's at the end of June. Hopefully, June is not far. It's not too close, so we don't have to rearrange our life. But I don't know if it's gonna happen. I'm going to Meagle Meet in June too, so I hope that's a thing. Oh, what happened? Oh, there it is. My computer's turned on. All right. Whoo. It got all dark in here. Well, I'm still connected. All right. Jennifer's waving. Hey, Jenny. You're awesome. And I was telling a story about Jennifer yesterday because my wife watches streams and family, and they're asking me, "Oh, it's cool that your friends from 8th grade are reaching out and high school guys." And I'm like, yeah, that's cool. But I told my family about you and Denise and our friends when we were hanging out riding bikes. But I told them that we used to, well, not me, but other kids would make fun of your dad's name because he got the cool. But now I'm thinking about it. He's got the coolest name. He's got like a superhero secret identity name. I think his name was Bruce Leonard, wasn't it? Bruce Leonard? Or was that someone else? I know another kid at it. Their dad was Gary, and we used to say Gary, but I can't remember. And that wasn't you. I think you had Bruce Leonard. Bruce Leonard now, that sounds like a cool acoustic guitar musician name. And introducing, ladies and gentlemen, to center stage, Bruce Leonard and the sweet musical sounds of Bruce Leonard. Yeah, so I hope that's you. That was fun. That's the story I told yesterday, so now it's true. It's out there in the world, and the kids heard it. Yeah. Mario says, good morning. Hello, Mario. Ernie, Jurassic Ernie still has the Crybaby. Yeah, he still has the Crybaby books. And the figure, I made a bunch of figures too. Yeah, I had a whole bunch. Bruce Leonard. Yeah, see, I knew I was right. Bruce Leonard. I always thought that was the best name ever. Bruce Leonard. Maybe I'll create a character called Bruce Leonard too. Only if your dad has to give me permission though. Secret identity, Bruce Leonard. Yeah. Yeah, man. This is my favorite superhero. James wishes to know. I have lots of them, but I always go to Superman. Superman's been there from the beginning since I'm a kid. I love them. Christopher Reeve showed up on screen, and I believed it, and I wanted to be part of his world. I wanted him to take me and tell me he likes pink, you know. But he's the best. Superman's the best. He's the ultimate good guy. He shows everybody how it is to be a superhero. He's the example. He's like, if you want someone at your party, a superhero party, you have to invite Superman. You know, if he's not there, then it's not a superhero party. You know. Oh, sorry to hear that, Jenny. Yeah, Yeah, well, the good ones got it. They all go. The good ones go. And I wish your dad happy. Rest in peace, Bruce Leonard. You're awesome. See, I never met the man, but I know he was awesome. But years ago when we watched the Superman Batman trailer where they were fighting, and we watched the first Star Wars one, Force Awakens. I had all these trailers lined up for the kids to watch, and we put YouTube on our TV and we watched it, and we watched the Star Wars and they were real excited. They're like, "Can we go see that?" I'm like, "Yeah, we can go see that." And then we watched the Batman versus Superman trailer, and my kids got mad after it was over. My daughter looked at me and said, "Why'd you make us watch that? Why are they fighting? Why is Batman mean to Superman? How come Superman is mean to Batman?" And I'm like, "I don't know." And they said, "Superman's supposed to set the example of what superheroes are supposed to be. They're not supposed to be." She walked out of the room. And so I'm like, "Oh no, I ruined this generation. I ruined them." And so I put the original Christopher Reeve trailer on and I called them back in and say, "Okay, I'll fix it." And the moment I put the Christopher Reeve trailer on, they started laughing. And like, "Look at the way he flies." I'm like, "Oh no." And I realized this generation doesn't have a Superman for their own. So I'm scared about that nobody cares. Kids won't care about Superman. Well, Marvel took over. They like Captain America, Marvel, and Thor, and Spider-Man, but they don't care about Superman. And they just know that Batman's a tough guy, and he's bitter and brooding, but that makes him cool. But Superman can't be that way. And our Batman, when I was a little kid, Batman was Adam West, so he was kind of corny, but he was cool. But he was still, when I played with the toys with the Mego figures, he wasn't the cool guy. He didn't save the day. It was Superman or the Hulk or somebody. So it's real different. It's a turn of events. So hopefully we can see Superman done in a good light where it shows everyone who he is. And that Man of Steel movie touched on good points, but they didn't deliver. It was like, I tell people, with a difference between Christopher Reeve Superman and Man of Steel Superman is when Superman Christopher Reeve was flying around saving people, fighting General Zod and all these stuff, you were on his side. You're with him the whole time. Yeah, go, go, go. But when Henry Cavill Superman's flying around, you're not with him. You're watching him. You're watching him do this. You're watching him cry. You're watching him fail. You're watching him break a guy's neck. And you end up feeling bad for the guy. So that's not what you want. You want somebody to be like heroic, where they enter the room, you know you're safe. But Henry Cavill, he walks in the room, and you're like, "Oh no, something's going to fall on me." So there's a big difference, It's what you feel inside about the character. So I don't know. I went on a rant. Yeah, time for coffee. I need a refresh. And Kurt Baldiga asked, "Didn't you have to work?" Or I worked at a comic shop in Midlothian. Yes, I did. That was the Hodgepodge. That's, I think, last time I saw you. You came in here and gave me your card. It was an airbrush card or something. You did some awesome airbrushing, I remember, in college. And I worked there at the Hodgepodge. It was in Midlothian, like 149th and Pulaski or Kedzie or something. But it was just a collectible store that we just had stuff. We didn't really get new things. We just always had stuff. We had collections. It was a lot like secondhand comic and toy store. It was really cool. I worked there for a little bit. I had to get other jobs, pay my rent and all that stuff. But that was really fun. That was one of my favorite jobs. And then I knew at that point that I wanted to own a store one day, that I wanted to do it. Yeah. And Ernie said, "Have a great day, Ernie. I got to go to work." Yeah, man. You do your thing, brother. And it's good to see you. I'm glad I got to draw you today for the live stream. Yeah. And Kurt, I introduced you to Crybabies. And Crybabies was my very first comic book. And I don't know if I have it here. I might. No, I don't know. It's not in arm's reach. It's somewhere else. But the Crybabies were my very first comic book that, after I went to the conventions to try to get interviewed and portfolio reviews, nobody liked my artwork, and they told me to go back to school and learn how to draw. So I'm like, damn, the only way I could do this, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do this. So I interviewed with one editor. His name is Bob Harris. And the funny thing about it, and now he's my boss at DC Comics, he looked at my art and asked me, "Why are you trying to draw like everyone else? You know, like you're not that guy. Don't try to draw like Jim Lee or Todd McFarlane." And I told him, "Well, that's what comics look like now. I want to work in there." And he said, "What's that you have under your arm?" And I had this, not the same one, but it was tucked under, you know, like this. And he said, "What is that?" And I said, "My sketchbook." And he said, "Can I look at that?" And I said, "Yeah." So I gave him my sketchbook, and he saw it was filled with all these cartoony doodles and characters and just all kinds of stuff. And he said, "Why don't you do this? You're not a comic book artist like those. Don't try to be like those guys." He said, "You're a cartoonist. Be a cartoonist. That's who you are." And he said, "Make your own book." And I'm like, "Yeah, you're right." So that was it. The next 6 months later, I had a table at the next show, working on my own books, and the Cray-Babies were the first book I published by myself. And when the Cray-Babies came about in Columbia College, I was sitting there with we were drawing in art class, because you know I draw on the easels in art class, and I just set up my easels for Saturday. I'm going to be drawing painting, some live stream painting on Saturday. So be here in the afternoon, Saturday, probably about 2 or 3 o'clock. I'm going to set up and play music. It's going to be awesome. But we were sitting here in class playing with Cray-Pod. They're like crayons, oil sticks or whatever they call it. Cray-Pod, like chalk almost. But we're drawing with these things. And the kid next to me said, "Hey, if these are the Cray-Pods, where are the Cray-Mas?" And I said, "They must be with the Cray-Babies," you know, and that was it. I started making funny characters with Cray-Pods, Cray-Mas, Cray-Babies, and I started sketching, and that was in my sketchbook at the time. And then I ended up making a book called The Cray-Baby Adventures, because that made me laugh. And it went on for like 10 issues. All my Cray-Baby books are on Comixology. You could read them digitally. And it's so weird because I drew them in the 90s, 91, 92. The book finally came out of December 93, I think it was. And it took 2 years to figure out how to publish it and get distributors and printers and all this stuff. There was no internet then, so I had that big thing called the Yellow Pages, the phone book. So I had to figure out how to do things. But it took about 2 years to get it in stores. And once I got it in stores, I kept making more books. I just did it's a formula, it's a system. I just kept going. So I published I published like 10 issues of Cray-Babies. They're all on Comixology now. You could there's a link I put in the video, and you could read them digitally. They're like 99 cents each instead of $3. So it's kind of cool. But I had a good time, man. I want to bring back the Cray-Babies. I know that was a long answer to a question, but it's okay. Next to some battling cages. What are you doing battling cages? Is that me? No, is that you? Well, stay safe from the cage, man. If you worked on it, have you worked on any cartoons? The Joker drawing in the back is making me think of a cartoon. I can't think of the name. The little blue guy who was an artist. I can't think of the name. I think that was Chalk Zone. You might be thinking of. There was a cartoon with a little white and blue guy. It was called Chalk Zone that he was drawn by. I think he was drawn by kids or he's drawn in chalk. But yeah, I worked on cartoons. I worked on Super Pet cartoons for Cartoon Network. I did some cartoons. They're on YouTube. They used to air on DC Nation. And DC Nation had a bunch of cartoons. They showed Green Lantern. That's where Teen Titans Go started. They showed Green Lantern, and they showed in between commercial spots, they would show a minute and a half cartoons. They had the Doom Patrol on there, and they had Barnyard or Farm Animals or something. But then I did Super Pets. I did like 5 cartoon episodes. Me and Franco, we wrote them together, and I drew them all, and then Warner Brothers animated them. So I drew all the in-betweens and the shapes and the faces and mouths and all the parts moving, and then they made them move. So that was real cool. And that came out, I think that was around 2010, 11, 12, 13, somewhere around there, 14. But they're on YouTube, and I got them on my YouTube page in a playlist. But they're also on that DC Nation or that DC that streaming service. You could see all my cartoons on there too. It's pretty cool. So hopefully I can do more cartoons. It's a lot of work, but it pays really well, and I really enjoy it. But it's intense. I have to get stuff done real fast. But it's cool. Like I draw characters, and I draw one background, and then I draw the characters, and they put them all together. So that's really cool. I love that work. It's so cool making things. I just love making things. you know, making things is the best thing. Like making paintings, making action figures, making comics, drawing stuff. Oh, I'm shaking every time I go on the mouse. Let's see. Kurt said he was bragging to people that this guy I went to college with has his own published comic. Yeah, man. I got several now. I forgot how many. I think I might have to close to 300 books by now. At one point, I counted them, and it was impressive, and I had to stop because I was starting to laugh and cry. And oh, Dorothy's here. Hey, Dorothy. As I miss you, I had to cut my own sides today. Got to keep it trim. I got to keep that famous cartoonist appeal. Keep the face. I'm not growing no quarantine beard. I tried it, and my wife says, or I had the beard, but it wasn't intentional. It was just because I had 2 weeks of intense vampire hours. So I would just work. I would work, fall asleep, wake up, work, fall asleep, wake up, and suddenly my hours got all flipped around. I didn't know what day it was. I didn't know what time it was. I didn't have a concept of reality. But now I'm kind of back to day shift. But during that time, I had the beard, and I said, "What do you think? Should I keep it?" And my wife said, "You look like you've been quarantined. Shave it." So I'm like, "Yeah, this is cool. It's easier to once you shave and have a short hair. There's less stuff to worry about." And I still blame 2006 on why the White Sox didn't win the World Series that year, because when you look at the team in 2005, they're real polished, short hair, nothing, no fancy beards, just play ball, listen to the coach, do your thing. Then they won a World Series. And then the next year I saw all the pitchers had dyed hair, frosted tips, they had goatees, they had chains. I'm like, we're not going to win. And even my wife's like, well, why do you say that? I said, because they're not 100% concentrating on the baseball. Now they have to wake up and look at their hair, make sure their hair looks good, make sure their goatee's trim, make sure everything looks good before they could even think about throwing the ball. So that's like, I don't want that. So if you keep everything short and trim and keep your focus on where you need to be, your work will come out better. Dorothy knows that. She's dreaming about hair cutting right now. I'm dyeing hair, paint nails, whatever you do. She's a glamour squad soldier. Yeah, she's awesome. Memory Lane is a cool place, man. Yeah, it sure is, Kurt. And you are awesome. And Alex, new guy. Hey, sir. Hodgepodge days. Yeah, man. It's so weird that these live streams pull out the people from where I used to be, and that's cool. And I live way north in the northwest suburbs now, so I we moved up here, and I didn't leave my south side roots. I'm still there, but I live up here. I don't leave the house anyway, so even if I was on a south side, you still wouldn't see me being in a house drawing. But I'm a south side guy. You can tell by the accent, the sweet, soulful, soothing sounds of my Midwestern Chicago south side accent. But see, I sound like John Belushi and Aykroyd and all those guys. Hey, they got the scamads, you know. Got cop tires, cop shocks, cop engine, you know that. It sound like that. So I never heard the accent, but that's what people tell me. But what was I saying? But yeah, when we bought a house up here, we had so much money to spend, and we could either buy a little house in the middle of the city and stay in the neighborhood. But the more and more we went further away from Chicago, the houses got bigger, and we have a yard now, and I have 11 trees, and so let's do that. Let's move somewhere else where I could get a bigger house for the same price. It's kind of like, all right, here's a loaf of bread with 20 slices. This one's $10. But if you go down to the store down the street, that one's $1.50. Get that one. It's the same brand, same everything, same slices. And that's kind of how I thought about it. Oh, Mark said, no, the hodgepodge was next to some batting cage. Oh, batting cages. I thought you said battling like UFC. Yeah, it was next to batting cages. I never partook in swinging the bat. I'm a big baseball fan, but I was never good at fast pitch. I played softball, but I like using my glove because the softball would always jam the finger. Oh, it always hurt. I never was a fan of that. I never saw anyone using it. I never saw anyone playing ball in there either. That was cool. It's a good space though. I know that space was available at some point, and I tried to buy it, but it was way a lot of money. And I think Metro bought it and put a parking lot and put their train there. But at one point, it was some, I forgot what it was. It was way beyond anything I've ever got to earn in my life. But I went to the Spanish Coalition and had some meetings with them to try to be a Spanish business owner since I'm half Mexican and half Irish. So I used my Spanish influence to try to get some money to help you, and they liked it, but we never followed through. And I think they just like, no, he doesn't qualify. I didn't have any money. I was poor. I was a poor, broke, independent comic book artist working in the toy shop. So I was doing my best I can. I'm still that guy though, but now I draw more comics. Melissa Madrigal. Oh yeah, I know her. I went to school with her too. What's up, Melissa? Yeah, I remember you. You're awesome. How you doing? Oh yeah, and it looks like from your little icon you have a bunch of kids now, so that's cool. Everyone's moms and dads. Alex says same. You probably didn't use those cages either. I need a swig. Oh, Mike Campobasso's here, my friend. He is actor, performer, voiceover actor, cosplayer, set designer. He does everything. He's the host of the Oh Yeah show, Oh Yeah comic show. He says, "What was your favorite cartoon as a kid?" And we call him Skoke because it's short for Skokie. Skokie Spidey, Skoke. Favorite cartoon as a kid? Oh man, I watched a lot of things. Super Friends, I love Super Friends. I would watch Spider-Man as Amazing Friends, but way before then, I would watch Hanna-Barbera, McGill Gorilla, Flintstones, Tom and Jerry, Woody Woodpecker. I watch all of that. Casper, I like Casper. Catnip, what was it? Herman and Catnip, that was good. I watched all that stuff, but I was a big fan of. You guys remember? A lot of Chicago guys might remember the BJ Dirty Dragon show. It sounds like it's an adult thing, but but that was a show with BJ Thomas was look it up on YouTube. It's really cool. I found some stuff on YouTube. BJ Thomas wore a blue derby. He wore a blue coat and like a black turtleneck, a lot like the way I looked at on my stream yesterday. It's weird. And then he talked to a dragon puppet, like a Muppet. It was called Dirty Dragon. When Dirty Dragon talked, all the smoke would come out of his mouth. And he was a mailman, I think, on the show. And so they lived in Cartoon Town, and it was a puppet show, but it was almost like the Muppets a little bit, but it was way better. It set the standard. It was like what Mr. Rogers done is that in that town of make believe. It was just like that, but it was first. It came first, and it was a local Chicago show, and it was awesome. And I found those clips of BJ Dirty Dragon and was showing my kids, and I'm like, here's what I used to watch when I was a kid. And they said, my daughter said, that's how you dress now. I'm like, wow. He had more influence over me because he was a cartoonist. He used to draw in the clouds and sculpt on the big blob clay statue. And he had more influence in me than drawing. He had drawing influence, creative influence, and dressing. You got to come with style. You got to look. You can't just look like you woke up out of bed. You got to put some effort. Wear something nice. I wore a sweater for you guys today. And this is my first date sweater. It is. I went on a date with my wife with this sweater, and she's my wife now, so it has good luck. And this is my my fedora. I got many. I have like 60 hats. I counted them one day. I think 52 or 60 or something like that, but it's crazy. I have a lot. I have way more than I need, but I could do 50 days in a row and not duplicate a hat, which is kind of cool. And see, Dean Stahl says, "Hey, Art, hey man, what's up, Dean? He's a good man, that guy. Steve Lightman, there you are, you handsome devil. Oh, thanks, man. I'm trying to be handsome. You know, it's not that hard for me, but sometimes it does take a little effort. If you saw me 3 days ago, or if you saw me in my quarantine time, wouldn't be good. But the cool thing about it is like when I do grow a beard, when it gets a little fuzzy, it looks like I lost some weight and makes my neck skinnier. But I think that's why a lot of Hollywood people do it. If you ever see Ryan Seacrest, he's not quite clean shaven all the time. He always has some stubble. You see that. It works for some, but not all. And let's see what else. Hey man, you like my coffee cup, James? This coffee cup is from the Warner Brothers store in the 90s. It says, the coffee is great here, just don't drink the water. A little bit of cultural reference joking there. But there's a Speedy Gonzalez, and it's cool. And I remember Speedy. I really like Speedy because he would make my grandma Hopi laugh. We'd watch Speedy. I'd stay at her house when I take a swig. When we were kids, me and my little brother, parents would go out for New Year's Eve, and my grandma Hopi would watch our Mexican grandma. She would watch us every year. Every year on New Year's Eve, we spend the night there. And every morning, I remember watching Daffy Duck and Speedy Gonzalez cartoons. And my grandma she looked like an abuelita. You know, she would sit in her big chair, her big soft chair, and she would just crochet all day. She would crochet and make. She had dolls, so she would make clothing for the dolls. She'd make socks and hats, and then she made little outfits for our guys, like my Mego figures. But whenever we'd watch cartoons with her, she would watch. We'd watch Speedy Gonzalez, and he would run around, and then she would just stop. She would laugh so hard that she would stop, and she would do the nice giggle laugh with Grandma. So I remember him. So when I saw this, that's one of the things I thought about. Besides it only being $2 and it's the size of my head, I need that cup. So Grandma Hopi, she's up there hanging out with Bruce Leonard. Yeah, man. Oh, they just high five. They're good. Yeah. Yeah, man, the blob rocked. The blob rocked. Blob. Everyone's saying blob. And Jennifer, like, she remembers that show too. Jenny Novaski, yeah. I remember her. Kurt Baldiga. Blob was my favorite part of the show. Yeah, Blob was cool. He used to bring this hunk of clay out and just sculpt it. And Blob would be a blank face. Remember, his face was just plain. And he said, "How you feeling today, Blob?" And he go, so he would make him happy. He would sculpt his face, and then he'd sculpt his eyes and make him happy. And then something else would happen. He'd be sad. He goes, "Oh, what made you sad?" And he'd make him a sad face. It was cool, man. It was like the best show. I wish they would release that on, re-release them somehow. But I think you could buy the DVDs on Bill Jackson's website. I can't remember if I ever committed because they're a little pricey. That's like $40 or something. But I never went ahead. I put them in my shopping cart, but I never went back and clicked. Maybe I got to watch them. I got to go back and I'm going to buy them. Because I've been talking about that, man. It's nostalgic now. I think I have enough in my PayPal account. Or if you guys buy some of my books, I'll be able to buy some of those. That's it. Dean Stahl asks, have you watched any AEW without the crowds? It is weird, but I watched it. I watched wrestling. I've always been a fan of the guys who are lower tier than WWE. WWE was never, I don't know, it's like they're like the king. So I like the guys who are indie. I was a big fan of WCW, and then I watched ROH. I watch it still when I can, and I liked ECW and AEW. I love it because my guys are on there, Christopher Daniels and Kazarian, and I met Scorpio Sky, and the Young Bucks been in our store signing, so I got to meet a lot of guys, and so I like what AEW is doing because they're doing the show like normal, but they have their wrestlers are in the crowd cheering, so that's really cool. That's the fun part, and that's the part I like about the live shows. But WWE doesn't seem. They seem like they're rehearsing. It's real different. But AEW seems like they're actually putting on a show for us. But the thing that I watched is when the Delete guy came back. Delete, that guy. Matt Hardy came back. Broken Matt Hardy. But that would have been a cool reveal if the audience was there because he was in the balcony, doing his thing. And that would have been so great. And that nobody expected it. I didn't know he was coming back when I was watching it. But that would have been such a good pop, as they say. That would have been a good pop. That would have been terrific. But he's going to do good on there. I saw where he just fought with Chris Jericho. He just beat up on him. But I'm a few weeks behind, about 2 weeks maybe. But I watch them when I'm drawing here. I got 2 screens here. I put it on this screen and draw, but I watch it. But yeah, it was a little weird. But Richie Sandoval Jr. Hey, cuz. Hey, man. How you doing? I just did a live stream yesterday and showed your boy's artwork. I'm going to show it right now. Richie has a boy named Chris, and he's a great artist. He drew this for me. That's a self-portrait of me. I know a lot of people thought it was George Clooney, but that's me. Look, he dances too. And he does close-ups, and he does far away. Yeah, Chris Sandoval's cool. We're going to do an art show soon. Once everything calms down, we're going to be able to open our stores back up to people, and you can come in there, and we're going to do an art show. So far, I have me and Chris Sandoval, my cousin, and my friend Kevin Bixby. He's got a piece going in there. We have several others, but I don't know who's there. We got a little pile, a little stack like this of artwork stacked up, but I'm going to paint a whole bunch of stuff. And this Saturday, I'm doing a live stream. I'm going to paint on a live stream on Saturday afternoon, probably 2 o'clock. I'm shooting for 2 o'clock Chicago time. This way I could get my East Coast brothers and sisters, my West Coast brothers and sisters, and my Mid Coast people, the Chicago people right in the middle. So that's a good sweet time, I think, especially for Saturday. People wake up and they walk to the couch with their coffee, put on their laptop or computer, and then they see this guy. They'll see this crazy guy painting. But the cool part about it is one of my musician friends, he's on Facebook here. His name is Vinks. I love his music, and he does live streams every day. I did a piece of art for him recently. We reconnected. I met this guy in the early 90s, where I saw him in the early 90s, and I met him in the early 2000s. And now we reconnected. And so I asked him if I could play his music during my live painting stream, and he says, yes, play it all. I'm like, yes. So I could play it and not worry about getting sued. I might get a copyright claim, but they don't really. That just means I can't make money off the video, but I don't make money off my videos anyway. So I don't know how much I can make, $5? but I'm going to have a good time. I'm going to set up the camera. You're going to see my whole painting area. I have the whole basement as my art studio, so you're going to see the whole thing. You're going to see the painting floor. I'm going to try to hoist the camera up high, so maybe you could see low. So because when I paint the large backgrounds, I put the canvas on the ground and just slap the brushes on there, and you're going to see how quickly you can cover a background rather than sitting there with a little brush. But when I paint, I put the music loud. I have beverages and snacks. I just have a good time, and I quarantine myself for about 8 or 10 hours. So I don't know how long the stream's going to go, but it's going to be cool, and I'm just going to sit there and have a good time and paint, and you're going to see what happens when I paint. And I just look now. I don't have many canvases. I have one big one. I have a few others, and I'm going to finish this painting here. This painting's not complete, so I'm going to finish this one, and I got to see if I have some more boards. I have a lot of paper, but I don't know if my paint will curl the paper. If it doesn't, maybe I'll try it anyway. And when I'm done, I'll probably put them up for sale. The last time I painted a bunch, I put them on Facebook. I wanted to make paintings for C2E2. I think I had 6 or 8 of them. And I took photos of them and say, here's the paintings I'm bringing to C2E2. And they all sold in 20 minutes. So I delivered them to C2E2, so I wasn't lying. But I thought I'd sell them there, but instead I sold them a week before I left. So I delivered them, people pick them up. So hopefully you guys will dig them, and I'll be able to sell some more. But I might make them smaller so I can mail them. That might be something. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. And the cool thing about painting, I don't know. I don't have a plan. So I'm just going to do things and see what happens. That's all true. I said a bunch of stuff. And Dean Stahl says, SCU. Oh, that's too sweet. SCU. What do they do? SCU. That's them. And they're awesome. And Dean Stahl says, delete. Yeah. I met Christopher Daniels told me one time, I know him. He does comics with me and stuff. But he texted me one day. It was on a Friday night. And he's like, what are you doing tonight? I'm like, nothing. I'm just sitting here drawing. And he said, we're at the Marriott at Woodfield Mall because they were going to play at the Sears Center. And he said, if you want to join us today, I'll take you to the press conference. And I'm like, yes. And I said, that's like 10 minutes from my house. So I drove over there and I met him. And I went to the hotel lobby and all the wrestlers were in the lobby eating salads and chicken nuggets and stuff. And Young Bucks were there. James Storm was there. A lot of guys from TNA were there. A whole bunch of guys. And I was freaking out as a fan. And no, there's no regular people, just all wrestlers. And when I walked in, Scorpio Sky saw me. And he goes, are you the guy? I'm like, I think so. And he goes, yeah, we're meeting over here. And I got to meet Scorpio Sky. Because the first thing he said to me was, are you the guy? I'm like, yeah, you're their guy. I see you. And so he's real cool. He's real nice. They're real nice guys. He's real different than the wrestlers are real different from what you see on TV. They're normal guys, just a bunch of dudes. And so I talked with Hangman Page. He was cool. I talked to James Storm, but I was scared of him. I didn't talk a lot. I met the villain, the villain, Marty Scurll. He was cool. I met a whole bunch of these guys, all of them. And so let me take a off-screen shot here. All right, I'm back. I had to relieve. But I met all these guys. And so when we went to the press conference, we were in the green room, and we were hanging out with Kenny Omega and Cody Rhodes. All these people were in there, and they're just hanging out and drinking water and eating fruit and stuff. It was pretty cool. And then all of a sudden, Cody Rhodes grabs a chair and puts it next to me, and like right next to me. I don't like I could touch the guy, like I could touch his leg, and so. He stands on it and he says, okay, listen up, everybody. Here's what we're doing tonight. Like, whoa. And he said the plans for tonight. And everything he said was so perfect. And then Daniels just brought me to the press conference where they're gonna film it. And then I sat in the audience. And then I watched as the show came out, every bit that he said and everybody agreed on was on mark. It was so cool because he said, okay, you're going to come out and do this. You're going to hit him with a chair. You're going to kick this guy. And then you're going to come out of the audience. And all of that happened. It was so fun to see. And then they were done and I went home. So it was pretty cool. And I'm a big wrestling fan. And now that I've been in that side too, it's cool. And Scorpio Sky told me I was officially SCU. So I'm a member of SCU. I'm the quiet member, silent partner. And when we walked into the hotel, he said, people are going to yell at us right now. So it's part of the show. They're going to say, you guys are the worst tag team ever. This is the worst town ever. And you guys suck and all this stuff. And it was right. And I was going with them on a train. You know, I was following the train, the trail like sand people. We're single file. And so we every time the velvet rope went up to let them in the door, I was right with them. So it was cool. I should have wore a suit and a cane. I could have been their manager that day. It would have given me a few bumps. Yeah. So we got to meet you at a tiny con in Edgerton. Yeah, I remember that. That was a weird show. It was fun. It was like in a school gymnasium or something. And the coolest part I remember is the chili fest that was happening outside. So my kids were little. My daughter was about 3, 4. My son was about 6. So my wife took them out to the chili fest. And I know my daughter was small enough to still fit in a stroller because when she get tired of walking, she'd sit in there. But she wasn't a baby, but we could push and then she'd get out when she wants. But they had chili, and I was in that Edgerton con, which was fun. I had a good time there. Good morning, Art. I slept in. Deep breath. It's all right, man. You got to get your sleeps in. Sometimes we were drawing all night until like 11 o'clock at night. And I went to sleep right after that stream. I was tired, man. I don't know. My hours catch up to me. And I just, I didn't eat enough. And I was hungry. And then I ate and then boom. It's like you got to take care of your mind and your soul and your heart and your body and all that. You know, you got to sit there and go, oh, you got to do that. Melissa, she said, thank you for the show. Helps me clear my mind. You're funny. Thank you. You know, this show does the same thing for me. it motivates me. Like when I know I want to record something in the morning and record something in the afternoon, um, it motivates me to do it, and I know the time's coming, so it's real different. Like after this, I'll draw for a few hours, and then I'll do another live stream probably tonight. I do drawing streams live, and those are cool because I just have fun, relax, and play music, and I don't get to see all the chats like I'm doing now. But at night, like I talk less, so there's a lot of times I'm a little quieter because I'm drawing. But I got a few people who are dedicated fans. My friends D. Brad and Kevin Bixby, they're on there every night. And last night I streamed for like 2.5 hours. The night before it was like 3 hours. It's already going on an hour now, but it's all right. It feels good. Mark fans like paint, Mary, Marvel. Oh man, that's cool. Yeah, I might. I don't know what I'm gonna paint yet, and that's the cool thing. I have this giant canvas that I was gonna donate to Harold's Chicken, so I might go ahead and finish a Harold's Chicken painting. But if they don't want it, then I'll have it, and I don't know who's gonna want to buy it. So maybe I'll just paint something cool on there. I don't know what I'm gonna do. We'll see. And thank you. Richie says thank you. He's super excited and has a ton of new stuff coming out, and he can't wait to show some of his stuff. Yeah, man, you got it, brother. We're gonna do it. Like I like making paintings and making shows and just celebrating and showing people what you can do. Create stuff every day, and people will find you if you're good and awesome. People will find you. And I learned the best way to be any creative person is do it yourself. Don't wait for people to find you. And especially like my uncle always told me, I need a drink first. My Uncle Bill always told me, there's three kinds of people in the world. People who wait for things to happen, which, okay. People who make things happen. And then there's the third person who doesn't know what the hell's happening. So you don't want to be the last guy. You could be the first guy if you're comfortable, but I like to be the second guy. Make things happen. No one's going to care. When you graduate school with an art degree, nobody cares until you do something. Like when you do something and present something like, oh, you're that guy. No one has ever asked to see my art degree. They don't care. They ask you later, oh, do you have the art degree? And you're like, yeah. The only one who cares to see the degree is if you're going to teach. I taught a few things. I taught in a few schools. And like mostly art programs, not like schools. Like I was never a formal teacher, but like a art program or a summer class, or I was a substitute teacher for a while for all the South Side suburban schools in Chicago area. So that was pretty cool. My forte specialty was 7th graders, so that was pretty cool. So imagine me being in a 7th grade class just like this, talking the whole time. So the first class I taught was French. So I don't know French, but I did it. I followed the worksheet and talked about French fries and French toast. It's true, I did. Dean sells Marty Scrolls, the scroll, that's right. Yeah. Jenny says, when I lived in Georgia, didn't know you lived in Georgia. That's cool. We had a few wrestlers that lived there. Big Boss Man, Bruce the Barber, Beefcake, and Steiner Brothers. Kids still are huge. Oh, cool, man. That's cool. Those are good. Those are good wrestlers. Boss Man, Brutus, and Steiner Brothers. And I met after that convention or that press conference thing. We all sat down and everybody, the SCU, all cracked a beer. Like it felt like a tradition. We cracked a beer, we all toasted, and we took one swig. We took one drink of the beer, and I think Daniel said, or Kaz, I think Kaz said, are we done? And he's like, yeah, we're good. And then we put the beer, and he goes, come on, let's go. So we opened the beer, cracked it, toasted, drank it, one swig, and put it down and left. But during that time, Brutus the Barber Beefcake came over. He's a big guy, and he's an older guy now. And I was freaking out, like, that's Brutus the Barber. And then they said, yeah, he's going to drink our beer. So I don't know what happened to those empty cans or the open cans, but that was cool. We toasted and left because they had to get back. They're professional. They do what they got to do, and then they go rest because they're performing. And even at C2E2, they made appearances, but they make their appearance, then go back to the room and chill. And I get it because I feel that after a day at the Comic-Con, I don't like to mingle too long. I look at my clock, and by 10 o'clock, 10:30, I should be in my room sleeping because I got to get up and draw for kids all day the next day. So I don't want to be drawing for kids all hurting, and you see my face like, what's wrong with Mr. Baltazar? He keeps yawning. So I don't want to be that guy. So yeah, that's cool. I was gonna say something else. Oh yeah, I met Jenny's there for 18 years. You lived there. That's cool. Wow, that's got to be cool that they're there. But I met Steiner, Rick Steiner, the big guy with the beard and the muscles, and Big Papa Pump. I met him at a show because one of my friends is the handler or the agent or handler or performer guy for wrestlers. So he books wrestlers to go to shows. So I met Steiner. I was real excited to meet him. He's a giant guy, real mean. And my friend asked me, "You want a picture?" I'm like, yeah. He goes, "Oh, it's free on the house." I'm like, and I looked at Steiner and he just didn't change his expression. I'm like, "No, I'll pay." So I gave the guy like $30 to sign it. I'm like, I'm not gonna get anything free from that guy because he's gonna come back and remember that favor you owe me. I was so afraid of him. I get starstruck at stars, but then afraid of other guys. And I don't know if he was acting or if that was him or he's in character, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to do that. I give the guy his money. Melissa says, "I remember you in 7th grade, always drawing. Funny, bet you were a great 7th grade sub teacher." Yeah, thank you, Melissa. Yeah, I remember that. School was cool. Gonzalez Academy. Yeah, it was fun. A lot of stuff happened there, you know. And Miss Justice, the teacher, reached out to me a few years ago. And I don't know if she knew who I was or she confused with my brother. Because my brother was 4 years younger and he was a straight A student. But she remembers, yeah, she knew who I was because she knew all the drawings were in her class. And she said to me, "I knew you were not one of those boys pulling all those pranks." I tried not to do that. Yeah. And then Jason says, "I can never party at the conventions. I usually grab a quick meal and I'm out by 10. Yeah, man. Those early next day openings are rough. Yeah, they are. And sometimes, yeah, it's hard to do. You have to train your body to do that. But if you're not used to it, man, because I know guys who do that rookie mistake where we get there on a Wednesday night or Thursday, but they stay out the first night till 3 a.m., 3 in the morning, and then we're all getting ready. We're all took our showers and ready to go, and the guy's still in bed and he's hurting. So that's a rookie mistake. You gotta prime yourself. You gotta be responsible because we're there to perform. Unless nobody cares about you and you show up at your artist alley table at 1 o'clock, that's up to you. But that's not the way to be a pro. And when you get there, the show opens usually about 10, and I get there about 9, maybe 8:30, 9 o'clock. I try to sit at the booth and have breakfast and stuff. And you could tell when you get to your booth that early, and you could see everyone else who's there early with you, and you know who they are, like you know the names. Oh, that's the guy who draws Spider-Man. Oh, that's the guy who draws Batman. Oh, that's that guy who draws this. So you know all the pros are there because we don't mess around. You got to wake up and do your thing. If you stay out all night, it's going to affect you every single day. And every single day, you're going to be less and less tired. I mean, you're going to be more tired. And you're more and more tired anyway at a convention because the show is it takes a lot out of you. But usually every night I'm in bed earlier than I was the night before. And there's always one day where you have to have breakfast with somebody, so you got to be somewhere by 7:30 in the morning or something. Especially with San Diego, the whole show is a big schedule. It's meetings. The whole show is in meetings every hour, every minute, every day. So that's pretty incredible. But I'm a big fan of all the conventions. Once they start up again, I'll be ready because now I'm fully rested. There's nothing in the way to stop me from getting sleep now. Maybe in my live stream painting Saturday, maybe I'll go into the wee hours of the night. I don't know. Kevin Bixby says, "Howdy. Hey, man. Good to see you, Kev." Jason says, "I'm 46, and I'm like you. I draw for all the age crowd. Kids want to interact with you. Cartoon magazines is my hope." Yeah, man. Is in my home. My table is always hopping. Yeah, man. I love it. Yeah, man, you gotta like, especially if you're an artist for kids. They don't care if you're tired. They don't notice. They just want a drawing from you, and they love you. And that's why when I go to a convention, that's why I wear the suits, the hats. That's why I look like this. Because this guy drew the famous cartoonist guy. Like I try not to just look like I do at home, like t-shirt or um, regular. I don't want to look like everyone else. When it goes to the BJ Dirty Dragon show, when I watched BJ Thomas perform, he had a blue suit, he had a hat, and then he went to the Giggle Snort Hotel, and he had suspenders. He had a costume, an outfit. And same when you watch Captain Kangaroo, he looks the same. He got the red jacket and the funky haircut. So Ray Rayner in the early morning in Chicago. So that's very important to have a persona, somebody that they can see, that they remember what you look like, and when you see you again, you look the same. You could be older, but you look the same. You're not just wearing a shirt that you bought at Target or something like that. Well, I buy my clothes at Target, but you can't tell. I cover them up. I wear stuff, but you got to look a certain way. You got to be like a superhero. You got to be a character, somebody more iconic than you got to be more iconic than you are. Just like this internet is making me cooler. Like once the live stream is over, I'm not cool no more. And the cool thing about doing these live streams, I really enjoy them. And the reason why I know I enjoy them because once I'm done with it, I want to do it again. I want to start up again. I'm gonna take a swig for the working man. My coffee is now Luke Skywalker warm once again. People always say my coffee's room temperature, but if you're in a freezer like where they store meats, your coffee would be room temperature in there, but it'd be really cold. Or if you're in a sauna with your coffee, it'd be really hot. So I don't know what room temperature is. Like, what is it? Like, you can't define it. It's just the temperature of the room you're in. But if it's cold in here, my coffee's gonna be cold. And I'm in the. I know that's a dad joke, but I could do it. I'm in the thick of it with the dad stuff. Be a dad. Once you're a dad, you'll always be a dad the rest of your life. That's it. You can't get out of it. That's it. They'll find you. If you try to get out of it, they will find you. She'll find you. The cops will find you. So don't do that. Just be cool. Just have kids and own up and love them. Kiss them on the head every day. Scratch him. When I see my guy, my boy, I scratch him because he's about this skinny. He's real skinny, and I scratch his chest and his back at the same time. And then my girl, I take her and just kiss her on her head real slow. And I tell her I love you, and she goes, I know. She does hand solo to me every day. Kevin Bixby says I'm always cool. Thanks, brother. See, that's right. I never let you see me any other way. So the illusion is working. The illusion. Jay said, absolutely. Yeah, man, you're performing when you go to the shows, you're performing. You're not just there to get through the day. And a lot of artists, you walk through the alley and their heads down and they're working on a piece. And that's not what it's for. You interact with people, unless it's a commission somebody just paid you for. That's different. But interact even when you're drawing the piece. Look up and say hi and try to sell what you have on your table. It's just you gotta hustle. You gotta do your thing. Good old Stone Cold Steve Austin. Yeah, brother. Did you listen to my stream yesterday? I talked about when he called me. He called me on the phone. I think it was on my drawing stream, my 2.5 hour drawing stream. Melissa's laughing. I got her laughing and crying. Yeah, that's cool. Very cool. Very cool. No swig. Here it goes. You can see the Warner Brothers label on the bottom. See? Official merchandise. It says official merchandise at Warner Brothers Studio Store. But I can't tip it because there's still coffee in there. There's still, you'll see a little bit. It's in there. But I had this cup. I said before, this mug is older than my kids. It's older than my marriage. It's almost as old as my career. I think I've been drawing comics for like 28 years. I started the moment I graduated college in 92. I said I'm professional now, so that's when I started. 1992. Yeah, I heard that on an Oh Yeah episode. I know. So like I have the same stories. I'm starting to overlap. But I think my coffee's getting a little cool. It's getting lukewarm temperature. It's getting room temperature. Like lukewarm is probably right before it turns room temperature. But now it's room. And what am I working on today? I'm not sure yet. I'll probably work on some more inking Gilbert because ink. I draw Animaniacs, Archimaniacs before I do live because I want to keep it secret. But I'll probably do some inks with Gilbert. So I got to work on that. I got to catch up. And Kevin says he has a mug older than a relationship with his wife too. Yeah, me too. That's the way that stuff stays. So then when you put, you definitely know the mug's going with you. You know, I don't mean that, but. But yeah, man, this has been fun. I think I'm gonna go and reheat my coffee, and I'm glad you guys stuck around. I figure if I go and look at the times, it's an hour. I've been talking to you guys for an hour. Lukewarm like a tauntaun. That's right. It's lukewarm on the inside. Mm, so good. It's still good though. Just coffee with a little bit of half and half, and that's me. I'm good with that. No sweetener. I like it bitter, and it makes it all worth it. But thank you guys for sticking around and letting me talk about things, talking about wrestling, sharing my stories, and hopefully I could get you guys awake, get your coffee going, and do what makes you happy. Don't do anything that hurts and doesn't make you happy. And stay safe and all that stuff. And stay essential, my friends. I'm doing my best to stay essential. I can't even say essential. But be good. You guys are awesome. Take care of each other. No fighting. Love one another. Hug your kids. Kiss your grandma. Do all that stuff. I'll be back tomorrow. Tonight I'll be doing a live stream drawing, and tomorrow I'll be doing this again. And you guys are awesome. Okay, bye-bye.